with Canada. These are the same people that make Bola wines, Falinari. They're a huge company, and I believe they're producing or selling close to 14 million cases a year around the world. Any questions on Pinot Grigio?
Well, to be honest, like in our store, like Pinot Grigio by far is like the best sell wine that we have. Do you think that it's probably just like because it's like really light in flavor, or another characteristic?
You know what it is a lot of wine drinkers are developing, and when they start off with something like a white Zinfandel.
Yeah.
Back in my day, it was like baby duck that didn't taste like wine, didn't taste like alcohol. Pinot Grigio is much lighter and easier to drink, so it's really the step up from a white Zinfandel. That they're finally starting to develop a palate that is looking for more of the wine flavor, but not too strong a flavor. So it's actually one of the wines that I select for people that want to. I don't usually drink wine. Which one would you suggest I have? That's the exact wine I select for them. The last wine we're going to try too is quite an interesting wine, but probably a little bit much for a new wine drinker. But out of all the wines we're going to taste, it is probably the best one with 90% of your menu.
And it's highly recommended for people that usually don't drink wine, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of restoring that, it's like, some customer they didn't stir it out, so anyway, it's instead of like we pour the wine on high to get into the glass and it's...
Yeah, what you're trying to do is bring more oxygen to it, and this wine is a cork wine, so we present it at the table, we pop the cork and we leave the cork with the customer. Yeah. We only do that basically to show them the cork that it's not damaged. If they want to stick it in their nose, I let them, but it really doesn't do anything for them to stick it in their nose. You look to see if the cork has mold on both ends. Mostly, did it have mold on the end that was touching the wine? Is it really soft, spongy, or is it really hard and is it breaking apart? These are all signs that something might be wrong with the wine. It all begins with the cork. More and more wines are going with a screw top, which means that we have less and less chance of having a bad wine served to the customer. It used to be the screw top was always considered to be cheap wine. Now some of the best wines in the world are being served with screw top. Now we pour a little bit to the customer, about as much as I poured in yours, because we just want them to be approving the wine. First we show them the wine before we even open it. We do that because if it's not what they want, we don't want to have an open bottle of wine. Once they've given you the nod, then you prepare it. As I was telling your staff, that your customer's table is their property, so you never, ever do you put the bottle down and open the bottle on the table like that. That's their property. You have to learn how to open the wine standing up, showing your own finesse and flair at it. It's as we practice with a number, I usually spot out the ones that are trying to hide from me, and I pick them to open up the wines, and I get them to over and over again. Keep practicing, because you have to be able to do it while you're standing. Usually if it's a white, you probably have ice buckets to go to the side of the table, or at least a bucket for the wine itself to be sitting in. Then you can put it on their table, but it's not until you've served them and had them agree to the wine that you actually ever put the wine down onto their table. Also, as I was teaching the staff, is that it gives you the opportunity every time you're going by the table. I know one of the best techniques in the restaurant business is always having something to ask at the table. Is everything fine? How do you like your first course? But you also have the opportunity with the wine to just fill them up a little bit more each time. When it keeps the wine cool for them, if it's a white wine, it shows them that you're watching their table, so they don't have to panic if it's a lunch and they got to get out of there at a certain time. They know that you're taking care of them. You're around quite often. Nothing worse than being a customer and wondering if you're invisible. I have that ability sometimes to just totally turn invisible. I watch staff go by me 3 or 4 times, and I'm just sitting there. Nobody even says hello. Not at your restaurant, but it does surprise me that some people are in this business and they just don't know what it is that makes this business. It's the customer, the satisfaction they have. So, adding a little bit more of the wine, keeping it cool, enhances the flavor of their meal, as well as it empties the bottle a lot faster. Some people can make a bottle last through the whole meal if you let them, and other people will gladly at least order another glass if they finish the bottle and they're not quite finished their food. So it's a chance to make the sale and up the sale a little bit more.